A famous British actress, Amelia Wright, was spending her vacation in a hotel in Miami. One day, the police got a call from one of Amelia's friends, who reported her disappearance. "We agreed to have dinner together a couple of days ago, and I still can't reach her," the woman said. The police got access to Amelia's hotel room, where they found this note. "It's been an honor to be able to live my dream of being an actress, but it has been the center of my attention for too long, and I want to start over. Don't look for me. Love, Amelia." The police didn't believe that the note was written by Amelia. Why? The words like honor and center are written in an American way. Amelia is British, and they spell it like this: honor, H-O-N-O-U-R, and center, C-E-N-T-R-E. "Mr. Jordan," said Detective Callum over the phone, "I'm sorry to tell you that your brother-in-law was poisoned and is now in the hospital. We are working on the case right now."
"Oh no," Daniel Jordan replied. "I just saw Brian last week. I'm sorry to hear that."
"But he is a successful businessman. He must have many enemies. That's a shame. He is a good man. I and both of my sister's husbands have always looked up to him. Please keep me updated and let me know how I can help." "You can come to the police station so that we can ask you a couple of questions," replied Detective Callum. Why did he think that Daniel had something to do with the poisoning? The detective never specified which brother-in-law was poisoned, and yet Daniel knew immediately, even though he had 3 of them. A rich woman was robbed right in the hotel she was staying in. A person pulled a purse out of her hands in the lobby and ran out of the building. The police arrived for interrogation, and one person stepped in as a witness.
"I was inside when the entrance door opened and slammed me in the face. The person had a red handbag and ran in the direction of the park. They were wearing a black hood and white sneakers. That's all I could notice."
The witness was taken to the police station for further investigation. Why? As you see, the hotel's entrance door is a pull door, so the door couldn't have possibly slammed that witness in the face. So, they're lying. Maybe it's the thief's partner trying to feed the police false information. Now, to crack this short riddle, you need to think outside the box. A train had arrived at the main station, but none of the passengers moved and none walked in. Then, the train departed. How is it possible? It's a model train set. Take a look at this couple on a boat trip. Why did the man push his girlfriend? He didn't push her. Quite the opposite. He was trying to save her. The woman had dropped her sunglasses into the water and was leaning over the side of the boat to retrieve them. She lost her balance and fell into the water. The man quickly reacted, grabbed her, and pulled her back into the boat. Now it's time for our favorite, Who Is riddles that will test your attention. Are you ready? Look at these 2 people. Which of them isn't smart? It's this guy right here. The sign says that no pets are allowed, but he's come with a cat. Okay, here's another situation. 2 people are on vacation. Jane is exploring the Alps, and David is about to jump from a cliff in Italy. Which of them isn't smart? It's David. Look, there's rocks right below the cliff he's going to jump from. It's way too dangerous. Jake and George are best friends who went camping in the woods. In the afternoon, they came across a wolf and ran in different directions. Which of the guys is in greater danger? It's Jake. Look, he's eating a sausage. The sausage will probably attract the wolf, and it will run after Jake to get it. The guy should throw it away, and keep in mind that if you ever encounter a wolf, don't run. Stand tall, maintain eye contact, and slowly back away. Now, look at these two pretty ladies. Can you figure out which of them has a partner? It's this one. Look, she has a ring on her finger, so you can say it's a safe bet. Neil was in love with his colleague, Jessica. He told her about his feelings, but she said she wasn't interested. Neil invited her to dinner anyway, asking for one chance, and Jessica agreed. Neil wasn't going to take any chances, so he decided to use a love potion on her. It had an effect on a person who wasn't in love and had the opposite effect on someone who was already in love. In simple words, if Neil drank it too, he'd fall out of love. So, it was the day of the dinner. Neil and Jessica ate the same food, and in the end, they shared a piece of cake, which Neil cut in half. Jessica left, saying it was a lovely dinner, but that she still wasn't interested. But the next day, the girl called Neil asking for another date. How did Neil manage to give Jessica a love potion without drinking it himself if they ate all the same food? The love potion was on one side of the knife that was used to cut the cake, so Jessica's piece had the potion on it, and Neil's didn't. Now, I have a couple of quick questions to ask you, and all of them are easier than they seem. Do you think you can solve them all? Let's see, and remember, don't overthink. How many hamsters can you put in an empty box? Just one. After that, it won't be an empty box anymore. What's bigger once you turn it around? The number 6, which will turn into 9. We all know that 2 and 2 equal 4, but how can we make it 18 more? Just by putting 2 and 2 next to each other so that they become 22. If you multiply all numbers on your phone's keyboard, what will be the result? The result will be 0. In any case, you will multiply all these numbers by 0. Okay, now let's relax a bit and train your eyes. I'll show you some photos, and your task is to find hidden words in them, 1 word per photo. Do you think you can find it? Well, let's see. Here's the first photo. Did you find the word cloud hidden right here? Great job. Here's something a little bit harder. Concentrate. This time, the word history was written right here. Okay, here's the next one for you. The word music is here. Did you see it? Let's do a few more. Are you up for it? Then here's the new one for you. So, the word science was right here. And finally, here's the last, hardest one. Concentrate and try to find that word as fast as possible. Can you? Yes, the word movie is right here. Awesome job! Now, one last detective riddle for you. One evening, Detective Callum was out on a walk around his neighborhood. He spotted an unfamiliar gentleman he had never seen before. This was unusual since the detective knew every person living in the area. "Hello, I don't think I've had the chance to meet you before," he said.
Yes, I believe so. I just moved in here last week, and I'm leaving now to meet my friends.
The detective didn't believe the man and took him to the police station. Why? Look, there are fresh footprints on the snow that obviously belong to the man, and they lead out of the window. House owners usually use the front door to walk out of the house, so this one must be a burglar. Harry uploads a dating app, hoping to find a girlfriend. He likes these 3 ladies, but 2 of them are not single. Can you guess who? The second lady has 2 shampoos on a bathroom shelf, one for her curly hair and one shampoo for male hair and beards. So she's probably living with her husband, and the third lady is wearing a necklace in the shape of half a heart. The second half probably belongs to her boyfriend. So only the first lady is single. Early in the morning, Harry goes to the local park for a workout. He sees these 3 runners on the way. Can you decide who's faster? The second one. What about these cyclists? Who's the fastest? The third one. After the workout, Harry enters his favorite cafe and sees a lot of people. All the tables are occupied, but one person already finished eating. Can you guess who? This guy. There's money on his table. Harry looks around the cafe and sees a crying woman. Can you guess why she's so upset? She's crying because her friend is pulling her hair. Harry is flying business class to another city. There are 4 women in the cabin. One of them is smuggling gold. Can you guess who? The fourth one. Her belly is unnaturally square. So he goes to the park and gets attacked by a crowd of zombies. Harry is terrified. He begins to run away. There are 3 possible routes in front of him, but only one of these routes will actually take him to a shelter. Can you help Harry find the correct way? Route A doesn't look simple, but it's the only way out. Harry is visiting an engagement party. His brother Kevin proposes to his girlfriend Bella with a fancy diamond ring. And she says yes. The party goes well, but suddenly, the lights turn off for 20 seconds. When the power is back again, Bella sees that someone has sneaked an engagement ring from her finger. Harry questions 3 suspects. Peter says,
I was cutting a cake in the kitchen when the lights turned off.
Allie says, I was playing the piano in the living room when suddenly it became super dark, but I'm a pro, so I continued to play blindly. And Kitty says, Sorry, I've been arguing on the phone with my ex-boyfriend, so I didn't look around. Who's lying? Allie. She said she was playing the piano, but there are no musical instruments in the living room. At the party, Harry meets a pretty lady named Monica. He falls in love with her at first sight, but unfortunately, she's already married. Can you guess which one of these guys is her spouse? It's the first guy. He's the only one who doesn't hold any drink, and Monica is holding 2 glasses, one for herself and one for her husband. The party goes on and Harry meets Vlad. He's a real vampire. One of these ladies is his wife. Can you guess who? The first lady's not a vampire. She bit this cookie and smeared her red lipstick. And the second one is wearing a garlic necklace, probably to chase away evil powers. Meanwhile, the third lady has sharp ears and red eyes, so she's probably a vampire just like Vlad. But the task was to spot Vlad's wife. Nobody said that she's necessarily a vampire. Take a look at the first lady's ring finger. She has a ruby ring that's similar to Vlad's. Therefore, she's his spouse. Harry runs a hardware store chain. He arrives at one of the shops to investigate a theft. The manager says,
This morning I found out that some Xboxes are missing. They could be stolen yesterday. Only 2 guys worked last night. One of them must be the thief. Personally, I think it was Bob.
Harry asks, why do you think so?
I talked to both of them. Bob said that he saw nothing suspicious, and Zach said that he'd seen Bob put some boxes in the back seat of his car.
Harry asks the manager to take him to Bob. They approach Bob at the parking lot. Harry says, now I'm pretty sure that Zach is guilty. Why did Harry think so? Zach said Bob put some boxes in the back seat of his car. However, Bob has a 2-seat car. Harry calls the police and they arrest Zach. The manager decides to change the 7-number password on the storage door to avoid further thefts. He leaves this little clue for all his colleagues. Can you crack this code? The number of fingers implies 5. The number of angles in the triangle implies 3. The number of petals in the flower is 6. The circle implies 0. The rainbow has 7 colors. It symbolizes the number 7. And finally, the square has 4 angles, so the passcode is 536074. Harry figures out the code and changes it again to test Bob's intelligence. Harry gives him the following clue. It's a 7-digit code. The first digit is the number of zeros in the code. The second digit is the number of ones in it. The third digit is the number of 2s. The fourth digit is the number of 3s. The fifth digit is the number of 4s. The sixth digit reveals the number of 5s. And finally, the 7th digit shows the number of 6s. Can you figure out the code? The correct answer is 3211000. Harry goes on a road trip. He stops in the middle of a desert to take pictures. Can you spot 3 odd things? Harry's shadow falls to the right, and the shadows from the cacti fall to the left. He's in the desert, but this cactus is growing in a pot, and this lizard is wearing tiny shoes. Harry rents a room in a motel for a couple of days. Unfortunately, he has a very annoying neighbor, Karen. They're arguing all the time. One day, Karen calls the local security and accuses Harry of stealing her towel. It's been raining all day long, so I didn't go to the beach and stayed in my room. Harry grabbed my beach towel from this rope. I could see from my window. He folded it and put it into his backpack. The guard immediately realizes that Karen is lying. How? The rope is outdoors. It doesn't make any sense to dry towels in the rain. Harry purchases a tour to see the local waterfalls. He takes a nap on the bus. Then he wakes up and sees that his favorite baseball cap is missing. Harry interrogates 3 tourists nearby. Sally says, "Sorry, I was sleeping too. I don't know who did it." Oliver says, "Look at me, I don't wear baseball caps, man. I prefer classy hats." And Molly says, "I think it was Sally. She's very suspicious. I'm almost sure that she tried to steal my chocolates when I fell asleep." Can you spot the thief? It was Oliver. He hid Harry's cap under his classy hat. Harry enters the local bakery. Rosie, the barista, is very upset. "I have so many coffee orders, but someone stole all the beans from the storage room." Harry interrogates 3 suspects. Louis, the cook, says,
I spent the whole day in the kitchen baking croissants, and I'm just working on a new batch. I don't have time to talk to you.
Ron, the waiter, says, "I forgot to set my alarm, so I overslept and arrived just now. I don't know who sneaked the beans." And finally, Dan, the manager, says,
I've been talking to one dissatisfied customer all morning. She was so annoying. I didn't have the chance to look around.
Who's lying? The cook. There are no croissants either in the kitchen or in the bakery window. Jessica arrives at an abandoned town to film a documentary. Can you count the number of vampires in this field? Nine. Jessica approaches the local mansion. Can you count the vampires around this place? 0. We only showed you 7 ghosts. Jessica enters the mansion and meets Albus. His age today is 3 times what it will be in 3 years from now, minus 3 times what his age was 3 years ago. How old is Albus? Let's say that his current age is X. Then, the following equation will help to figure out the answer. So, Albus is only 18. Albus hosts a party and invites Jessica. The party goes well, and Jessica makes a lot of interesting videos. But suddenly, the lights turn off for 20 seconds. When the power is back again, Jessica sees that someone has stolen her expensive video camera. Albus questions 3 suspects. Casimir says, "I was eating when the lights turned off. Luckily, I managed to grab the last strawberry cupcake at this party." Morgana says, "I didn't touch her gadgets. I was dancing with Bastian when the lights turned off." Bastian says, "I only came to this party to see Morgana. I didn't look at other women or their things." Who's lying? Casimir. There's a bunch of strawberry cupcakes on the table, so he didn't grab the last one. Jessica checks her phone and sees something really odd. Can you spot a mistake? Wi-Fi and airplane mode can't be active at the same time. Angelina, Karen, Margot, and Sandra have a musical jazz band. They arrive at the party to perform at a concert. But just before the beginning, everyone realizes that Karen had disappeared. Albus finds her locked up in the basement of his mansion. "It was dark, so I didn't notice who locked me in." Can you guess who did that? Angelina. Her outfit was okay when they arrived, but she tore off the sequins from the dress because she got caught on the iron door when she locked Karen. Albus shows Jessica his home office and offers a game.
If you can manage to open my safe, I'll give you all the money I'm hiding inside.
Can you help Jessica figure out the code? Take a look at the dice in these two paintings. It's a clue. The code is 6324. Albus points at these two women and tells Jessica, "Meet my wife, Nina." Can you guess which lady is Nina? His wife is the maid. She's wearing a ring while the red-haired lady isn't. Jessica arrives back at her office, but she can't unlock the corporate computer. Someone changed the 10-letter password and left this clue. Can you figure out the new code? The clue is a rebus, so the password is accelerate. Jessica meets 3 guys online. Later, she visits their places to show how they live. Which guys should Jessica start dating? Magnus has wedding portraits all over the room, so he's married. And Leo seems to be a criminal, so she should choose Nick. Early in the morning, Jessica receives a call from her coworker, Tyler. "Jess, please come as soon as possible. I've just arrived at work. Someone robbed us. It's a huge mess. They even trashed the furniture." Jessica comes to the office and studies the crime scene. Tyler says, "Look, they stole all the documents and expensive video cameras from this locker. But I've got the only key. That means the robber broke the lock. I bet it was one of your new employees, Jill and Dan. I think they work for another company undercover. What do you think?" Jessica replies, "I doubt it. You'd better tell me why you're trying to frame those guys." Why did Jessica think that Tyler is lying? The locker was locked when she arrived. Tyler has the only key. If Jill or Dan had broken the locker, they wouldn't be able to lock it back up. Jessica was invited to an elite billiard room. She finds the entrance, but the door is locked. She needs to enter a 5-digit code. Can you help her figure out the password? Take a look at the poster on the door. It shows 4 numbered billiard balls organized in a row. These numbers are the password: 8, 15, 3, 4. Jessica is watching the news. A mysterious thief keeps on robbing people in Paris. He sneaks into hotels and steals jewelry and cash from tourists. "Oh no, I'm going on a business trip to Paris tomorrow. I should be careful." The next day, Jessica lands in Paris. She arrives 3 hours before the meeting and decides to check in first. She arrives at her hotel and meets a lonely manager in the lobby. Jessica says, "Room number 505, please." "Of course, let me show you in, miss." Jessica immediately realizes that this guy is the thief from the news. How did she guess? It's a 3-story hotel. There can't be a room 505 in the building. Jessica met Francois online, and today they're finally meeting offline. They go out on a date in a cute Parisian restaurant. Everything's going great. Francois is a smart and handsome guy with a good sense of humor. The waiter brings the desserts. Suddenly, Jessica jumps up and runs away from the restaurant. Why did she run away? Jessica saw Francois's face in the news. He's a runaway criminal. Jessica enters the local gift shop. The owner complains, "Someone stole the goods from my shop. About 10 items disappear from the shelves every week. The staff members have no idea who the thief is." Jessica offers the shop owner to investigate this case. She watches the CCTV footage and identifies who's guilty right away. What about you? Can you spot the thief? It's this lady. She put the stolen goods in her bag. Jessica goes to the local haunted house to film a documentary. She takes 3 friends with her, Louis, Madeline, and Pierre. No one ever dared to enter this house because of creepy rumors. But the guys decided to check it out and see for themselves. They enter the living room and click some Polaroids. They take a good look at the images, freak out, and run away from the mansion. Only 4 people walked inside the mansion. All 4 are standing in this picture. If they're here, who took this shot? A ghost? Jessica finds a puppy on the street and brings it to the nearest vet clinic. The puppy only had a collar with its name, but no information about its owner. After a while, 3 people arrive at the clinic. Each begins to insist that he's the only owner of this puppy. The doctor calls the police and they interview each of them. Clark says,
I was so scared. I called the animal shelters in this city, but they didn't know where Fluffy was.
Oliver says,
I was walking the dog in the park. I turned my back for just a minute and he was gone. I have no idea why he ran away.
And Sam says, Honey, I bought a new bone for you. Come over here. Who's the real owner of this puppy? Take a look at the puppy's collar. Its name is Toby, but Clark called him Fluffy. And Sam is trying to lure the puppy with a bone. So the real owner is Oliver. Jessica is visiting a speed dating event. She talks to 3 guys. Each tells her a couple of facts about himself. Pierre says, I'm an artist. I've just signed a contract to paint a wall in the local co-working space. I've never been in a serious relationship, but now I'd like to find a muse and settle down with her. Jacques says, I'm El Reto. I used to be married, but she moved abroad. And now my work is my only girlfriend. And Glenn says, I run my own restaurant. I'd like to find a soulmate to cook delicious meals for her every day. Who should Jessica choose? Pierre clearly wore a wedding ring. There's a tan line on his ring finger, so he's a liar. Take a closer look at Jacques. His nails are too sharp and his legs are very hairy. It's a full moon, so he's probably a werewolf. It's not safe to date a beast, so Jessica should choose Glenn and enjoy his cuisine. Margot is an aspiring influencer from New York who has 2,000 followers. The Paris Fashion Week starts next week, and she really wants to get photographed there to help her gain more. But not surprisingly, she's not invited. So, when an extremely popular influencer offers tickets to one of his followers, she immediately jumps at the opportunity. However, she has to answer this riddle correctly to be able to win the ticket. You go in through 1 hole, you come out through 3 holes. Once you're inside, you're ready to go outside. But once you're outside, you're still inside. What is it? The answer is a t-shirt. Margot first has to buy her plane ticket to Paris to be able to actually attend the fashion show. So, she heads to a travel agency to book it. Since the flight is soon, the plane tickets are so expensive. The travel agent says,
I will give you a discount if you can answer my riddle correctly. 2 siblings with laces always on the floor. Sometimes they're running, and sometimes they do more. What are they?
it's sneakers. Margot must first find herself a chic gown to get ready for the event. So she heads to the famous shopping avenue. 3 clothing stores grab her attention. Take a look at the displays of each of them. Which one should she pick? Let's take a look at the first store's display. The dresses are super fashionable, but do you see the price tag? It says that this dress is $3,000. That's way too expensive. As for the second store, the sale sign on the window is tempting. But did you notice the mice traps placed on the ground next to the mannequins? That can only mean this store is infested with rodents, and the clothes in there are probably ruined. So she should pick the third store. Margot walks inside and checks out the dresses. She likes 3 of them, but she can't make up her mind on which one to actually get. Can you help her out? Take a closer look at the rhinestones on the neckline of the first dress. One of them seems to have fallen off. It wouldn't look good on her reputation to wear this. And did you notice that the skirt of the third dress is slightly ripped? No one there will see that as a fashion statement. So she should buy the first one. Margot is going to fly in the next morning, so she needs to prepare her suitcase for the trip. However, it seems like she forgot to put 2 important items in it. Can you tell what they are? Do you see the sticky note on the vanity mirror inside her room? Her travel items list is written on it. Most of these items on the list are already placed in her suitcase, but she still needs to pack her shoes and her makeup bag. Margot looks around the room, but she can't find both of these items. Can you spot where they are? Her shoes are under her bed, and her makeup bag is behind the pillows on the couch. The next morning, Margot arrives at the airport to catch her flight. When she checks the departures board to figure out which gate to walk to, she sees that there are 3 different Paris flights departing all at the same time from different gates. Can you tell which gate number belongs to her flight? Did you notice the clue in the video that will help you figure this out? Let's rewind the video back to when Margot went to the travel agency. Do you see the sign that says, "We work with La Baguette Airlines"? So, Margot's ticket is from the same airline. And let's take a look at the departures board again. There's only one Paris flight that belongs to La Baguette Airlines, and it will be departing from gate number 5. During the flight attendant starts serving meals to the passengers. However, Margot realizes that she forgot to book the burger option in advance, so she's served the vegetable stir-fry instead. Seeing her so disappointed, the passenger next to her offers to trade his burger with her stir-fry if only she can answer his riddle. Throw it off the highest building and it will not break. Put it in the ocean and it will. What is it? The answer is a tissue. After a tiring flight, Margot arrives in Paris and finds her hotel. The hotel manager comes next to her and informs her that his employee gave the room she booked to someone else by mistake. However, to make it up to her, he takes her to 3 different rooms and says she can choose the one she wants to stay in. Which one should that be? Take a look at the pillowcases inside the first room. They have dirty brown spots on them. Yikes, that's a pass. And take a look at the temperature on the wall of the third room. It's kinda higher than normal room temperature. Seems like the air conditioner there is not working, so she should pick the second room. It's finally the day of the fashion show. But oh no, Margot forgot to bring her hair tools. So she urgently needs to find a hairstylist. She searches for the closest ones to her hotel from her phone and finds 3 hair salons near the area. Which one should she pick? Do you see the hairstylist working in the first hair salon? Her hair looks really messy, so she probably won't be able to give Margot the hairstyle she wants. The third hair salon looks really clean, but did you notice the 2-star rating it had when Margot Googled it? So it wouldn't be the safest option as well. Then, Margot should choose the second hair salon. After her hair is done, Margot heads to the venue to meet the popular influencer and get her ticket from him. Then, the popular influencer says that one of the models is a really close friend of his, so he can also take her backstage to have lunch with them if she wants. Margot excitedly accepts his offer. When she walks in, she sees that 3 people are sitting around the dining table. However, one of those is not actually a real model. Can you tell who? It's the girl in the middle. Did you notice that her bag is filled with food? The real models there don't need to save food for later. The fashion show begins, and Margot starts checking out the designer's new collection. However, when 3 models are walking the runway at the same time, she realizes that a scandal is right around the corner. Why is that? Take a closer look at each of the designs the models are wearing. Although this is a Dolce & Gabbana show, one of the dresses belongs to a different designer. The belt on it says Alexander McKing. After the scandalous fashion show ends, the popular influencer invites Margot to the after party and gives her the time and address details. Margot arrives at the club, but a bodyguard stops her. He says only those with the password can enter. When Margot tells him that she doesn't know the password, but was invited by the popular influencer, the bodyguard decides to give her a hint. 1 strand dangles, 2 strands twist, 3 or more can fashion this. Can you tell me what this is? It's braids. Margot enters the club and finds the popular influencer. He says, "Here you are. I was just looking at the posts of these 2 new influencers," and shows her his phone. "One of these is a millionaire, but the other one is just pretending to be rich. Yet, I can't figure out who is who. Can't you help me out?" Take a closer look at the second photo, and you can see a blurry watermark in the background. That means the second influencer photoshopped herself into a stock picture. So, she's the fake one.